I'm back. I stopped I thought I stopped the camera and I hadn't stopped it, so I had it on at the end of that last video while I was adjusting. So either I've edited it and you don't see it, or I left it in there and you're still laughing. If you're still laughing, well, you're welcome for the amusement at my faux pas. Okay, so a few more things. This stuff, if you ever have somebody offer you this stuff, try not to take it unless you're just feeling masochistic that day, because this is silicone wafer stuff and it doesn't napkin quickly and it has huge directionality where it chatters, so it's a real pain to, and it doesn't have good tensile strength, so it's a real pain to mess with that. This was an accomplishment, I think. What happened is I went up to the Knapping in New York, in Letchworth, and one of the first things that happened while I was there is um, a Canadian guy that I guess knew me from watching online. There was a bunch of Canadians there, and they were nice. It was fun to have them there and talk to them and everything. See the different styles. A lot of people up there work different types of rock that I've never worked before, and so it was real good. I was glad that I went there. But at any rate, he gives me that rock, and oh, see what you can get out of this. Well, it was a super blocky, like a little brick of rough Onondaga, and it was all I could do to even take a flake off of it with percussion. I mean, I was hitting it hard, and so anyway, at some point I got under control and made what I thought was sort of an Eastern style Clovis out of it, and I think it was good enough to again defend my honor, that people realize that yes, maybe I actually can hit rocks, which is important. I mean, you know, I'm ego involved like everybody else. I just try to suppress it as much as possible. This kind of crap, you know, sometimes that's the thing is, you know, it's not the end result and how it looks. Sometimes I feel like I should have gotten a medal just for tackling the rock, where, you know, and you post it, it'll get 3 likes, and you're going to swear you never post again. It cracked me so up. That's fairly recent. Wonder what else is worth showing. This, you want to get crazy, start try and nap some. I think Jim Hopper gave me this chunk of rhyolite from somewhere out west, Oregon or somewhere. Try napping some rhyolite, some basalt, or even maybe, I mean, see, I'm proud of this. Like, why are you proud of that? Well, that's kind of low-grade Fort Payne. So, go me. I mean, you know, my goodness. They don't call it Fort Payne for nothing, because it's a pain. I know. Knife River. This was a terrible little thing. This was a small creek cobble from that same creek near St. Louis, and me getting that out of that was miraculous. Oh, this was a winter thing one time. I was bored, trying to decide something to do. That's a challenge, because even when you're working the tiniest little rock in the world, you still got to try and go with the proper physics when you're flaking it. Like, don't get above the center line and everything, because you don't lip an edge on something like this. You just break it in half, and then you're like, it's not like when I break in half bigger stuff where I can make two smaller arrowheads out of it. I mean, if you break that little, we're going to call that a Clovis, okay? I can't really remember if I tried to flute it or not, but we're calling that a Clovis. A micro Clovis. This is another just example of just trying to do something with something different. Oh, where's my flashlight? I'll light this little sucker up. This is Millefiori glass, and the challenge there is it's kind of weird material in that it sort of seems to work almost like the that yellow stuff, the headgummit, fiber optic glass. It seemed to kind of almost work like that, but the other thing is these different glasses in here, the white stuff, it flakes differently. So you'll be taking a flake on the edge, and part of a flower will lip off the edge. So anyway, not that there's any point to that. This is another thing where I just tried to salvage too much of the rock instead of making a more accurate looking. Well, do whatever you want to do. I left the cortex on the end of it. That was obviously probably a tabular Central Texas Pedernales type stuff. What is that? That's Spanish Diggins orthoquartzite from Wyoming. And again, that when you start getting into working the quartzites and the orthoquartzites and stuff, that is a whole nother ball game. This is kind of cool material. This is from the Fort Hood area, but it's weird. That's actually, I think, a piece of opal in there, but it's also got a lot of pyrite in there, so it's got a lot of little speckles and things and other inclusions. But that material is never easy to work. I mean, it's hugely challenging to try and work that material, but I like the way it looks. I don't remember the story on this little Clovis-y thing, but I like this for some reason. I think I just like the way the rock looks and the colors. This sort of stuff always causes me grief when I make it because, of course, I don't make much like this. But this is the guppy point, the guppy blade. The concept here was, make it thin, get really good edges, and have it thin. Well, that sort of result isn't, I don't think, fully appreciated sometimes. What's this thing? Just a corner notch. Yay. Well, I love the colors in this. Kenley rock sometimes is really neat stuff. Man, I'm just washing out this picture with the brightness of the lights, but when the lights aren't bright, then I don't have focusing. Oh well, doesn't matter. 100 years from now, it won't matter. Hey, there's kind of a cool Clovis. I give myself higher points if I do anything with obsidian than I want to do, because normally, since I don't work that much and it's kind of likes to run squirrely, then if I get a result I like, then I'm good with it. Oh well. Time to shut up and go back to the rest of my day. As far as the types of material that I would recommend people consider working, I think I've said before, but if you will, try and figure out, of the major materials that you can get in quantity, the stuff that, exist a lot. Well, the Texas stuff, yeah, but like Burlington, there's a lot of Burlington out there in the world. Obsidian, there's a lot. Flint River is pretty good amount of Flint River. Some of the hornstones and Dovers and stuff. At Tennessee's got a lot of material. There's just a lot of different um, Georgetown, Pedernales stuff. There's a lot of different materials out there. If you can just figure out what you like. I will say though that I should have heated more rock over the years and worked more heated rock. Almost, I've worked very little heated rock, and I think that's a mistake for a number of reasons. Um, the reason that I've worked so much stuff that's difficult is because of the challenge. Is the thing that's the appeal to me is the puzzles, the being able to get away with it and have it come out and be okay. But you know, at the end of the day, sometimes it's probably better to do something else. That's probably Sonora or Dover or something. At any rate, well, I'm going to let you go. I do not know when I'm going to post again, but it's not going to be anytime soon. So that's the way things are. Bye, Freeze Crack.